How's everybody doing? This is Anesthesia Tech Tony Payne. I'm here at the airport getting ready to fly out with another contract. Wanted to talk to anesthesia techs, especially those that are considering traveling. One of the things that I'm addressing in the book that I want to share with you on this video is knowing your worth. Know your worth, know your strengths and your weaknesses before dealing with agencies and hospitals, so on and so forth. I can't stress it enough. It is very important to know your worth. And then after you know your worth, then be able to clearly and accurately represent yourself. No one is going to represent for you. No one is going to basically give you anything. You're going to have to do it yourself. For example, almost every contract that I get or I negotiate with the agencies, they give me one number. They says, oh, we will hire you and send you somewhere, and and we're going to pay you $5 an hour, $10 an hour, or whatever the case may be. I always tell them point blank, no, that's not my rate. As a matter of fact, I don't even talk to people. Real talk, I don't even talk to people for less than $45 an hour. Don't even talk to me. And then, and I go up, my rate, and I'm like, oh, California, oh, it's going to be some real money. And so a lot of them, they get all salty, and then I know my worth. Look, I'm good at this thing. I'm good at what I do. I'm trained, and I constantly better myself by learning. So it ain't nothing for me. If they turn around and say, well, no, this is the most that we're willing to pay, or the most that the hospital is willing to pay, I'm like, okay, well, my word, this is what I'm bringing to the table. So you guys, good luck, find somebody else, but if you get what you pay for. So, and if you know that you're not good at hearts, then get good at hearts. If you have a problem with peds, get good at peds, but know your worth and stick to your grounds. Now, this is just so to show you an example. A hospital, that I once worked for as a traveler, they were very, very salty at my rate. They were like, oh, no. But they really, really needed somebody, so they eventually agreed to the rate. The agency, they were salty at it, but they agreed to the rate. And that was that. I go out there. Within the first week, I saved that hospital millions, 20 to maybe $100 million as an anesthesia tech. And they had anesthesia techs there. They had permanent anesthesia techs there. I walk into the OR, first OR I walk into, I see their anesthesia gas machines are configured wrong. I look up at the WAG, waste anesthesia gas disposal system, and there's no hose connected to the waste. I'm like, whoa. So I'm thinking everybody's gonna get sick and stuff like that. I'm like, whoa. What they had was two vacuum hoses, and he had one of the vacuum hoses hooked up to the scavenging system. There's the whole reason why they created the disc system, for a reason. So I go to another OR, and after I go to 3 ORs, and then I realize every OR except for one is configured wrong. I go to my supervisor, and my supervisor, he was an anesthesia tech, had been there for 30, 40 years, and he was like, oh, this is fine, this will work. I'm like, yeah, it'll work, it'll get you through when in a pinch, but it's not meant to be like that every day, all day, because the hoses are different. The vacuum hose has a tendency to leak a lot easier and a lot faster than the waste anesthesia gas hoses. So, of course, I go to Biomed. Biomed shakes their head, and I finally go to enough anesthesiologists and the OR manager, and they're like, oh yeah, and I show them the way it's supposed to be done, and I tell them, look, this is why within my first week I keep getting calls from anesthesiologists about their peak. Their peak is too high. Their peak is too high because of this. So anyways, They end up changing it, all of the OR, changing it. But I saved them millions of dollars. Just imagine if someone got sick. Imagine someone died or some situation. Or imagine if an anesthesia tech who's not as experienced as I am sees it and be like, oh, we don't need 2 vacuum hoses, and this connects one of them. And then all of a sudden everybody in the OR is sick. So anyways, I'm like, and so after that week, I go to the OR manager, and as well I go to my agency, and I said, this is why I get paid what I get paid. Know your worth, because a lot of these agencies, they're not going to have your best interest at heart. They're going to be trying to get money. A lot of these schools, like Wayne County Community College, they want your money. They don't want what's best for you. And I know, I can't say that, play a blanket picture for all agencies or all schools, but, like, for instance, like Maximum Healthcare Services, I said once, I said again, watch out for them. Watch out for, but nobody's going to look out for you like you. You know your worth, stick to it. And then again, know your job. And it's not enough just to know how to stock a room. You got to know why the anesthesia gas machine is configured that way. You got to know the DIS system and the PIS system. And as well, you got to be strong enough to stand up to these people and say, look, this is wrong. This can cause sickness. This can cause, a patient and or my coworkers to be sick or get harmed in one way or another. So that's just an example. But at the end of the day, you got to look out for yourself. Oh yeah, by the way, I am still working on the book to the max. It's going to help all of you anesthesia techs out there that's trying to get into the anesthesia tech field, get into the travel field, tell you everything. Tell you all of the agencies that's good, that's bad, because I've been through a lot of them. I've been through a lot of agencies, I've been through a lot of hospitals. And so anyways, looks like they're getting ready to call me from my flight. So that's my anesthesia tech, Tony Payne, and that's one to grow on.